So, in studying the fears that hold people back, one kept popping up that made absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. The fear of success. It kept popping up, and I kept thinking, how in the hell can you be scared of something that you want? Something that's ultimately good for you. Because success, it means more money, more freedom, more options, more impact. I mean, at least that's what you usually think of whenever you hear the word success. But let's be real, success is subjective. For some people, success is leaving a toxic relationship. For other people, success is starting a business. Or success for some people is having a loving wife and kids at home. It's different for everybody. But whatever it looks like for you, if it threatens the version of you that has so far kept you safe and small and accepted, that's where the fear creeps in. And the more I studied it, the more that I read stories about the fear of success, the more I saw patterns in my own life, the more I realized it's not a logical fear. It's deeply subconscious, and that's what makes it so powerful. Because it's not going to feel like fear. It's going to feel like wisdom. It's going to feel like you're just being realistic, like you're just playing it smart. But make no mistake, it's fear. And as usual with subconscious fears, it's dressed up different. It's perfectionism. It's waiting on the right time. Or asking for everybody else's advice instead of just trusting your own. But in reality, it's that subconscious fear. And people like to argue this point because they don't feel afraid. But fear doesn't always feel like fear. Sometimes it shows up as hesitation. Sometimes it shows up as tension in your chest, procrastination, or suddenly like getting tired or distracted the moment that you sit down to finally start the thing. See, you're not scared in a way that you've been taught to define fear, but your body knows. And again, this is subconscious. This isn't something that you think about. This is a pattern and program that goes on and that takes place in the background of your mind, in the background of your life. So you're not afraid of failure. You're afraid of what will actually happen if you win. Because when you succeed, now you're out in the open. Everybody sees a big win. Now, subconsciously, you may think that people are going to expect stuff from you. Now it's real. Let's break it down. Your nervous system has one job: keep you safe. And it does that by keeping you in what's familiar. Even if that familiar place is stress or struggle or not living up to your full God-given potential. See, the body doesn't crave breakthrough. The body craves safety. And safety is whatever you've repeated enough times to make you believe is normal. But before we go any further, I need you to understand something. You see, your mind and your body are not always on the same page. Your mind is conscious. So it's what you say you want. The goals you write down, the dreams you talk about. It's the logical part of you that says, I need to grow. But your body is the subconscious. And it doesn't care about goals. It cares about safety. Because it remembers the last time that growth got you judged or abandoned or laughed at. And it holds on to that memory whether you're thinking about it or not. That's why we can want something so bad and still not do it. But not because we don't mean it, it's because our body has been trained to avoid anything that seems risky. Let me give you an example of how our subconscious kind of runs the show behind the scenes. You can go out somewhere and then whenever you're driving home, you know the exact turns to make, you know what's coming up, and you don't even think about it. It's not a conscious thing because you've done it so many times that your body is trained better than your mind to just do it automatically. And that's how we go through our life with the subconscious programming that we have just running the scene in the background without us consciously thinking about it. Like it's been trained, it's been patterned, and it moves before our mind even catches up. That's the same thing that happens whenever you hesitate to post something, or when you shrink in a room, or when you hesitate to launch something that you've already completed. You don't feel afraid, but your body is already tightening up. You're already scanning for risk. You're already choosing safety. And if your body still associates success with pressure, exposure, or loss, then no matter how bad your mind wants it, you're gonna block it. As an example, people sabotage relationships all the time, even though they want to be in a loving relationship. But they're so used to chaos because their mind and their subconscious is so used to and programmed for chaos that they end up sabotaging it because a nice, loving, fulfilling relationship feels abnormal to them. In the same way, success for a lot of people feels unfamiliar. It disrupts what your current self knows how to manage. It brings new pressure, it brings new responsibility. You spent years learning how to survive on one level. You've gotten good at struggle, you've gotten good at managing disappointment, and you stayed under the radar with these big goals that nobody really expects you to follow through on. But when success becomes real, that version of you can't come along because that identity was built for survival. It wasn't built for visibility. Even if you don't say it out loud, your subconscious already knows the risk, which is why there's such a pushback. Delays, overplanning, procrastination, second guessing, convenient distractions. It doesn't feel like fear, but it's fear that's running the show. You see, the subconscious is trained by repetition and emotion. It's shaped by your upbringing, it's shaped by your environment, and it's shaped by the way people reacted whenever you've stepped out previously. Every time you were too loud, too ambitious, too different, your nervous system logged it down like, yo, tone it down, stay safe. So when opportunity shows up in your life, your hesitation kicks in. The body still thinks that success equals exposure, and to you, exposure feels unsafe. Now, let's layer in energy. Because as we've learned before, everything is energy and frequency. So your thoughts, your beliefs, your habits all carry a frequency. And when that frequency is stuck in doubt, fear, or unworthiness, you won't align with the future that you claim to want. The desire might be real, but if your energy doesn't match it, then you're going to repel it. You don't attract what you say you want, you attract what you're aligned with. And if success still feels like a threat to your nervous system, you'll just sabotage it. And this is why change isn't about, it's not just about habits, it's about your identity. You have to change your identity to become someone who is successful. It's internal and then external. You have to become that person first, and then you will see the external validation of that. And if your identity is built on, almost getting there, then crossing the finish line is going to threaten everything that you've built your identity around. If you always use language like one day win, or almost, or I'm going to, then you're going to stay stuck in one day win, almost, well, I'm going to. That just becomes your identity instead of what I've told you before, speaking in I am. And so whatever you're speaking to yourself is what you're going to attract to you. So you've got to get out of the identity and the thought process of I'm going to win or it's almost time, things like that, because you're just going to stay stuck in those same repeating patterns and never get out of them. You're going to hesitate. You're going to stop yourself. And you're going to delay the next step, even though you've told yourself that you're ready to move. Again, it doesn't feel like fear, but your actions keep showing the same pattern. You won't walk around saying, I'm scared of success. That's not how it shows up. Instead, it sounds like, what if I get it and then lose it? Or I'm not ready for that kind of attention. Or the famous one, I'll just wait till I have enough information. And so we're always on this, looking for information loop. And we never find enough information to feel ready enough to start. I mean, you'll say you're being wise. You'll say you're just waiting for confirmation. But your actions will say otherwise. You're going to build and never launch. You're going to start and never finish. Or you might succeed a little bit and then completely blow up your momentum. And even when things do go right, you're going to downplay your achievement. You're going to brush it off. You're going to act like it doesn't even matter, even though you put everything you have into it. Like you almost feel guilty for winning. You don't want to make anybody else uncomfortable because you're leveling up. I don't know why people do that. Celebrate your success. I get it. There's some people who are jealous and envious. That just doesn't register with me. I celebrate other people's successes as though they were my own because it's exciting. I know how excited they are for their wins, for their successes, for their new cars, their new houses. I love it. It makes me happy because they're happy. That jealousy and envy, that is weirdo stuff to me. But But stop minimizing your growth to make yourself relatable. Part of you wants to go all in, but then there's another part of you that keeps on hitting the brakes. And whether you believe it or not, that inner conflict, it creates confusion internally that you don't even know how to name. A lot of people say they want to be chosen, they want the opportunity, they want the next level. But when it shows up, they tense up because now you got to deliver. Now you have to sustain. Now you got to become the version of you that matches the vision that you have for yourself. And that means letting go of every excuse that you used to cling to. And that's where most people stop, right at the edge. And right when it's time to go all in, they pull back and convince themselves it's just not the right time. Or they need a little more clarity. But really, they're just avoiding that weight that comes with growth. So let's talk about what happens when you stop doing that. Number one, you stop second guessing everything. You stop over-explaining why you're doing what you're doing. You stop building things and never launching them. You stop downplaying your progress just to make the people around you comfortable. You give yourself permission to win, not just once, consistently. You let your momentum build. You let your work speak for itself. You walk into rooms without wondering if you belong. You stop chasing reassurance and trusting your own voice. You stop looking around for permission and start moving like you already have it. You make decisions faster. You take up space without apologizing for it. You keep your word to yourself. You show up even when it's uncomfortable. Success doesn't change who you are. It exposes who you've been hiding. That's what happens when the fear of success dies. You stop running from a life that's already been calling you, and you finally start stepping into it. And once you see that, you can't go back to playing small. You can't unsee your own potential. You either step into it or you keep shrinking back on purpose. So, how do you break free? You gotta start paying attention to when you hesitate. When you delay, when you overthink, or talk yourself out of what you said that you wanted, call it out. You're not being cautious. You're just hesitating again. And it's time to call it what it is. You don't need more answers. You just need to move. You already thought it through 100 different ways. At this point, you're not gaining any insight. You're just delaying the action. You got to make the move and then figure it out. That's how it works. Ready, fire, aim. Take the shot and then readjust. You're not going to have all the answers first. Stop waiting around for all the answers. That's not how the process works. You don't get all the answers and then do it and everything works out great. You have to do it when you're unsure and then readjust. And then the answers will come. And then you readjust and you keep going. And you need to build the habit of trusting yourself before you go out looking for everybody else's opinion of what you're doing with your life. And let me tell you this. I know everybody values the opinion of somebody close to them, whether it's their parents, aunts, uncles, coaches, friends. We all value the opinion of those closest to us. But if they've never set out, if they've never tried to do what you're trying to do, understand that their opinion is based off of what they've seen, is based off of what they've done or haven't done, or, what they believe is possible for them. And if you're not careful, you're going to start shrinking your future to their experience. This is your life. Be very careful who you take advice from. Just because they're close to you doesn't mean they're going to give you the right advice. And another thing, when you step out, you're going to face resistance. So expect it. All it is your body adjusting to a new level. That's all that it is. And yes, even resistance from other people is simply the energy that is required coming to you to allow you to go to a new level. That's what pattern breaking feels like. It doesn't make logical sense because it's not a logical thing. It's a subconscious thing. Keep moving. You can't be available for success and unavailable for responsibility. You can't say you want overflow and keep operating from lack. You can't keep asking for more while you're rejecting what you already have. You're ready. It's time to move like it. Look. The fear of success is one of the quietest killers. It doesn't sound like fear. It sounds like logic. It sounds like humility or just taking your time. But deep down, you've been building with the brakes on. You've been showing up at 75% so nobody demands 100% from you. And so you can make the excuse to yourself so you don't have to demand 100% from yourself. But at some point, you're going to have to ask yourself, am I playing small so that I stay safe? Or am I playing small because I'm scared to lose other people or the comfort or, the version of me that was made for survival? Because real success is going to cost you. It's going to cost you your excuses. It's going to cost you your false identity. It's going to cost you the feeling of needing to be liked by people who haven't done what you're trying to do. But what do you gain? Freedom, purpose, peace, and finally becoming who you are. So go succeed. Stop apologizing for being built for more. That's all I got. I know this was a bit of a rant, but it is what it is. If you got something from it, thanks for sticking around this long. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, share this with somebody else, leave a comment. All of these things help the algorithm so that these videos get out to more people, to help more people, to unlock more people's potential. Thank you so much if you stuck around for this long. Hope you have a great day. Don't forget to make good choices, and we'll see you on the next one.